So tell me about what you were doing last week.
Well, I spent a week doing the Gateway Voyager program at the Monroe Institute in Virginia. And I had first heard about the Monroe Institute probably about 6 months ago in reading a book from 1991. Very interested recently in uncovering the more fundamental nature of consciousness. And it seemed to me that some of the research that they were pursuing at the Monroe Institute would fit the bill very clearly. Technique that they use, in my view, tends to synchronize the activity in the cerebral hemispheres. And of course, as a neuroscientist, I had known for a long time that the kind of the asymmetry of function in the hemispheres of animals goes way down the evolutionary line. And so it serves a purpose that is very deep and very ancient. And we're really, I would say at this stage, still not at all certain what is the implication of that asymmetry between the hemispheres. And of course it's very prominent with humans. And I was very excited about seeing how using the Monroe technique would enable me to explore more deeply my consciousness and find more of how that related to the experience I had. I, a little over 2 years ago, had gone through a very profound experience as a neurosurgeon with 20 plus years of experience in academic neurosurgery and a great interest in the phenomenon of consciousness. I was suddenly rendered comatose with bacterial meningitis and spent a week in a coma on a ventilator and came very, very close to dying, and just had very powerful memories from deep inside of coma, and a very strong spiritual experience that showed me a nature of our consciousness that is very mystical and powerful, not at all explained by the conventional neuroscientific model of a complex neural network giving rise to consciousness. In fact, I saw that our consciousness is a much more fundamental phenomenon than that, and that it goes much, much deeper. And that came from my near-death experience. And so with the Monroe technique, I was very amazed at the process. They have this very worked out over more than 30 years of work to try and get it to a point where it's a very useful tool for people to explore deeply into their conscious nature, which really means deeply into some very interesting phenomena and that have to do with the nature of our very existence, the nature of the universe. And these are realms that can be explored deep within us, that also in many ways go all the way to the outer limits of our known universe and beyond. And the technology was a very good way of basically quieting the chatter of my brain, quieting both the linguistic part of my brain, the typical rational thinking part of the brain that I had for many years thought was the kind of the pinnacle of intellectual achievement in the universe, and I was wrong. And in fact, there are many things that our brain does, what is commonly called the subconscious, that can be elevated and brought into kind of the more conscious part of our awareness. And the cortex is the human part of our brain, the neocortex. And by quieting that down and getting it in sync, one is then able to get in touch with the more fundamental reality underlying it all. And I think that that is a critical part of where this whole movement is going, that includes the Monroe Center and their technique and many other efforts to get a more fundamental understanding of what our consciousness really is.